All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dialogue with Myself. Um, I have my Starbucks today. I caved and got Starbucks, and I have a coffee machine, but I'm too lazy to make ice, and that's where I'm at right now. I have a free 2 to 3 weeks, actually longer, more like 4 weeks, but then I have some stuff to take care of. Free, no school, no work, nothing. And it's weird. It is weird. I feel kind of like I don't know what to do with myself. It's only been a day, and I just kind of feel like I'm not sure what to do. I'm just kind of sitting around. I plan to probably go live and make some content while I have the time, just because I enjoy doing it and fuck it, I have the time. But man, I just slept like it's got to be like 13 hours, just straight, just no interruptions, nothing. And man, it was nice. It was beautiful. It's so nice to sleep without, there's something about sleeping and knowing you have an alarm in the morning to where you're constantly like calculating how much time left you have to sleep because you can't fall asleep. Like I'm someone who's always struggled with sleep. I actually have a sleep disorder, technically, where I forget, a delayed sleep phase syndrome, that's what it's called. Where basically, when I was born, some wires got crossed, and now I forget what it's called. Basically, my brain wants to sleep during the day instead of at night. So I've always had sleep problems, and having alarms in the morning just makes it worse, because you're constantly like, fuck, I gotta sleep. I gotta go to sleep. I gotta wake up early. I gotta go to sleep. But now, excuse me. But now I got nothing. I'm just chilling out. I can sleep as long as I want, wake up when I want. Feels great. Anyway, let me take another sip of my coffee. I'm a bit tired still, actually, after talking about all that sleep I got. I'm actually still a bit tired. I think I slept too much, which is annoying as well. But anyway, I was, today I woke up. My friends called me to try to wake me up. Didn't work. Slept through it. Is what it is. Hate to see it, but happened. And I woke up and I was kind of like, man, all right, well, I'm up and I don't have any ice. And I just wanted like a good iced coffee right now. So I ordered some Starbucks. I ordered a little croissant from there. I was eating it. I was listening to this other podcast. And they were talking about OG YouTube. And I know like that's a bit of a broken record on here, but I think it's fun because I don't know how many people listening to this actually know the ins and outs of like what the old like COD 4, like even like Modern Warfare 2 YouTube was like. And I'm not even as old as some of those people too. Like I remember I was kind of the young guy at that time to get interested in it. Like people my age were definitely watching YouTube videos, but none of them were really like trying to make it happen. Like, as a kid, when I was younger, I don't want to get like too crazy personal with this, but basically like when I was younger, I couldn't just like ask my parents for, like back then it was you need to have a 360 or a PS3 and you needed to have a capture card, which I think one was called like a Dazzle, which was shitty. It was like 480p. And there was the, oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. Like the the HD. I forget what it's called, but it was this other capture card that was like more expensive that recorded in 720p in HD. Which back then, like HD was a huge selling point. Like there were people who had their channel names as HD because they had this HD capture card. And I remember, like, I don't know, I've been really reminiscent today, this morning, kind of thinking about how far I've come personally and how far all these other people went, Like, I obviously didn't become this huge YouTuber, but it was something that I considered as like a side job, for a time where like I was earning enough money to buy new things and slowly build my setup and, like all that stuff. And honestly, my biggest failure was just inconsistency, which is still my biggest failure. But now I actually have an excuse to be busy. So, it is what it is. But anyway, I remember I had a laptop. I had an old laptop that I think my father used, but then got a new one. And like, he was like, oh, you can just have this one. Because at the time, I don't know if many of you know this, I was homeschooled. I was homeschooled. My dad traveled a lot for work. And it kind of just made the most sense because we wanted to travel with him. And at the time, where I was living, there wasn't really a good, like, solid public education system. Even, I mean, I guess you could argue even in the States there isn't a good solid public education system. But here, there definitely wasn't one that was like an option for me, And so... And we didn't have the money for private. So I did homeschool. So I was able to like have a flexible schedule. I could put time into this. And it was interesting to me. I actually found like, a passion, which I think, my parents were kind of worried about me, I think. And I'd probably be worried about me too, because I didn't really have like I was homeschooled and I didn't have a lot of friends. And I was kind of like lost in terms of what I liked. Like I liked sports a lot. Like I knew I was very competitive. Like I wanted to win and I wanted to do what I could to win. And that was something I think my parents saw in me at a young age. And, they put me in sports and I did well in sports, but then it got to a point where I was like, I don't actually enjoy this. Like I like the competitive aspect of this, but I'm not going to be that guy who goes to college to play sports. That's not my thing, And so, and I graduated really young. I graduated at a very young age. So I kind of had like all this time before I was even like expected to go to college or like get a real job, if I'm being dead honest. So I had a lot of time to put a lot of different effort into a lot of different ventures, which some were very lucrative and helpful to me and like have honestly made my life so much easier. And I'm so glad that I put the work in when I did. But anyway, I'm talking about YouTube. I remember I got into like editing, which was at that time fucking, oh my God, Windows Movie Maker or Sony Vegas. And it was so much easier because these YouTubers started to make money and they were like, man, like I'm recording so much and I don't want to cut this together and I don't want to, it was a cheap alternative for something that they didn't have to do, which back in the day, by the way, for anybody who's listening, video editors were like frowned upon in the YouTube gaming community. Like if you had a video editor, you did the worst thing you could do. It was like do a sponsorship, have a video editor. Those were like the two things where people were like, oh my God, you're the worst person on earth. You sold out. Because it was, I don't know, I guess it was this weird thing where it was supposed to be something that you like did yourself. Which is funny now, because now it's like, you're weird if you don't have a video editor. Like, no YouTuber above, like, 200,000 subs has their own, or, like, edits their own videos anymore, just because there's too much content to, you gotta do your video, you gotta do Reels, you gotta do TikToks, and then you're probably streaming, too, and then you probably have a guy who clips your stream, and, there's so much shit involved there that, like, you literally can't do it by yourself. But back then, I got into video editing, and I got really good at that, and that was a whole path. But I also wanted to be a YouTuber, and I was just thinking about, like, how far you come, and you don't think about it. Like, you don't, at least I don't look back a lot on that time and think about how much of a hustle and grind it was. Because, like I said, back then, it was like, you weren't making a lot off your YouTube videos and you weren't being paid directly by Google. So back then you would basically, like, if you were able to get into an MCN, which is a multi-channel network, I think I explained it on the first episode of this podcast, you could then get paid by that multi-channel network, but they also took like 30% of your earnings, which kind of sucked. But basically, sorry, my voice is shot today. Basically, if you joined a multi-channel network, you could get paid. And that was your only way of getting paid. Like, from what I remember, YouTube wasn't, like, you couldn't get paid directly from Google at that time. which I think now most people just get paid directly from Google, but I don't know. I'm not like, I can't even be monetized anymore, so I have no clue. But back then, you had to join a multi-channel network, which meant you had to meet like some of their criterias. Like I remember for the one that I joined, which I believe was full screen, I think I joined full screen. I don't really remember. If anybody remembers any of these names, you're old. But I think I joined full screen, and maybe I don't know. Anyway, the criteria was like 5,000 views total and like over 250 subs or 300 subs or no, it must have been less than that because I was monetized way earlier than that. I think it was like 100 subs, which at the time wasn't big, but it wasn't small either. Like that still wasn't an easy number to hit. But man, I remember grinding so hard to try to hit that 100 subs, and I didn't have a capture card. And I didn't have a PC that ran games good enough. So I couldn't like OBS I don't think came out for a while. So you couldn't just like get OBS and like stream and record. That wasn't like, you had to get a capture card to play something. And then there were other alternatives to screen capturing. I forget what they were. I think Windows had one directly for a while, but then there was an issue of audio. You had to get like Audacity, and it was such a nightmare. Anyway, I remember I started earning money from YouTube, and I started just uploading these random videos, like just like, I don't know. Hi guys, how's it going today? I'm planning on getting it was like bait to like, I'm planning on doing this, please fucking help. It was basically what it was. And I finally earned enough to get, and this was a bit further down the line where the Elgato came out. And the Elgato was like kind of a game changer because it was full HD. There wasn't a delay, or there was a delay. There was a delay on the recording, but as long as you didn't use OBS and you used like the Elgato capture, obviously it would match the audio to the delay of the game or the capture. I finally got an Elgato, and that's when like everything changed. And I even remember like, dude, I didn't even have a microphone. Like I saved up and got a microphone, and you just like look back and like, man, like I was playing on like an older TV that I had, and I just had my laptop, and I was sitting on a lawn chair, and I had an old Logitech headset that I bought. And oh my God, like I just can't believe how far I don't know, and it kind of proved to me too, like, and I hope that this is a bit not inspirational, but like I made enough to buy things for my setup, and I made enough to, because my whole thing at that time was I didn't care how much money I had elsewhere, like because I was doing a lot of other things at that time that were earning me money that I could have just bought the stuff. But I had this weird thing, and I've always had this weird thing where it's like, if this doesn't, like, I'm not going to invest any more than I make. And I think that was smart. I don't remember even like who taught me that lesson. Or maybe it was just myself, like I just learned over time. But I was like, I had a big thing where I was like, if I don't earn enough out of this, I'm not going to put that much into it. So I kind of like made, which is really dumb, because I really like, I kneecapped myself really, because I could have bought a lot of those things prior, but I don't know, I wanted to earn it from the thing and then buy things for the thing. You know what I mean? Which I was really young, like it doesn't make sense, but I remember I earned enough to buy like, an Elgato, and then I got man, I didn't even have to get the Snowball. I bought the Blue Yeti. Dude, the fucking Snowball and Blue Yeti were like the YouTube mics for at least 3-4 years. Like that was the mic you used until we got to like, and then like Shure came in with the SM7B, and like everyone started thinking like, oh shit, these people are using it for music. Let's just use it for our gaming videos. And then like the Scarlett came in and all that stuff. But man, it's crazy to think like I started on a laptop, and then I got an Elgato. Then I got, and this wasn't even including like, man, games too. You had to buy games to like keep up, and that was before I got into live streaming. And that was when I saved up. I finally got a PC. Then I got another PC. Then I got another PC. Then I got another PC. Like it's just crazy to think about how you, I don't know, how you just how things grow and change. And I'm here now where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm on my fourth PC, and I moved and I had to buy all new stuff, and I don't know, it's just weird to look back at those days because it's like, it's starting to get old, like legitimately, like it's starting to actually be over a decade now. And it's weird to think back at all that stuff. And I think this channel that I'm uploading on now is not, this channel I created on my own because I had a separate channel that I had joined with my friend that we wanted it to be like a, us group of friends making videos on this channel. Because I think that was kind of popular at the time where you'd have like a group of friends that you'd play with and like Achievement Hunter, or like Let's Play, like the old Rooster Teeth guys, which like RIP Rooster Teeth, man, that's so weird. I get it, but it's weird. Anyway, that was like kind of the goal there. And then I kind of ended up, I don't remember why I ended up splitting off and doing my own thing, but I did. And then I had to like start from the ground up, and that was hard too. Like I think we had like 400 something subs on that channel at the time. And then I kind of just switched and made my own thing, and it was weird. It was really weird. And I actually had a video go viral on that channel. I had like 1 million views on that channel. Because of it wasn't even because of me. It was like a video that I reacted to back when like reactions started to become okay. Because for a long time, reaction videos were like a faux pas. Like you could not do a reaction video because you were just stealing content. Whereas now it's like everyone fucking reacts to everything now. But I reacted to a video that got taken down. And then so people came to my video to watch the video that got taken down. And I was an idiot. And I told the guy who had control of that channel, shout out Cinder, I told him, like, just take it down. It's embarrassing. Which is the dumbest idea I've ever had in my life. Like, that video probably could have 5-6 million views by now. And I just, like, didn't. I don't know. I was just dumb. I don't know why I did that. Anyway. Hindsight, right? But it's just crazy to think about all those times, And now, like, I'm older. I'm 23. And, it's like, man, there's this whole chapter of my life. And I know a lot of people who are embarrassed by it. Like I know some other YouTubers who recorded videos when they were really young and they privated it and they got rid of all those videos, and I have a very different outlook on that. I actually really like that I have this kind of like, it is embarrassing, yes, like because you're 13 fucking playing Outlast and you have like the highest pitched voice and your voice is cracking and it's terrible. But I remember, like, I'm able to go back on those videos and look at who I was and what I was playing and what, who I was hanging out with and how dumb I was or how mean I was. And, like, all this stuff, you can go back and look at it, And, man, it really is, like, I'm really grateful that I did that. Because I get to now, hopefully, like, as long as YouTube is around, I can look at these, like, chapters of my life where, like, oh, I was living in that house at the time and I was in that basement at the time, and then I moved to my own apartment, and then I moved to that other apartment, and then I moved here, and like it's so weird to look back on all those times and be able to, like, I don't know, especially with the videos of me and my friends, like I can literally go back and watch one of our old hangouts, and like a lot of people don't have that luxury, especially as you get older. You just have those memories and memories go away, like sometimes you just can't. Like now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing like, oh my God, I can't remember this one thing. And I'm like, wait, what happened at that time? Like, I can't remember. Like, oh, was it that person? Was it? You start to lose your memory. And it's really fucking weird. And I know that's normal, but like, it's weird. And so I'm able to look back on that stuff and it's really nice and fun. And I'm really grateful for that. But anyway, I just yapped like 20 minutes about OG YouTube and like my fucking unsuccessful YouTube journey. But it is really crazy to look back on all that and just think about how much things change. And I'm also glad that I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it to some extent. Obviously not as crazy as I used to, but I do it. Now I have the podcast and I do stream when I can or when I feel like it. I explained this in the first episode. Like I'm able to let go of the numbers now and just have fun with it. And I'm really happy about that because I think my younger self or even my older self would be really upset if I just gave up and like never did it, because I really do enjoy it. You know, it really is like just something for some reason that I find really fun about it. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna sip some more of my coffee. We're already at time. Now that we're at the end of the video, or towards the end, I did make like I sold out and I created kind of like a subscription type service, which I'm sure no one will ever subscribe to, but if you do subscribe to it, you'll get longer episodes and stuff like that. So there should be a link in the description where you can subscribe and get some longer episodes, which the episodes are already long, but you know, they're there. And if you subscribe, they're there. So if you are interested in hearing me yap for longer, that's, you know, where you can go. But anyway, yeah, OG YouTube, man, it's so different now. But I don't want to get caught up on that too much because I spent like the whole first fucking episode of this podcast doing that. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I also think this is weird because I've never really shared this much personal stuff about my life. Like I noticed when I do podcasts, even on the other podcast I did, I shared a lot more, which I don't really have a problem sharing because I think some of the hard things that I've been through can actually be helpful to other people. And I know that that's not healthy. Like I've talked to a lot of people about that where they go like, yeah, but it shouldn't be for other people. Like whatever struggles you've had or whatever, it should be for you. And you should be able to help yourself based on that. But I kind of had this weird thing where it was like, well, I've been through XYZ. And if I can help people who are going through XYZ to help them through it, then it makes it worth it. And it kind of takes some of that away from me. And I don't have to feel like it was all for nothing. I don't know if that's just like a healthy mindset, but I don't know. I just noticed that I share a lot more in this kind of format, which is weird. I don't know why, but I guess it's just more talking. Like there's less distractions, you know, and I'm not like reacting to a game or something like that. So it ends up being more personal maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I think YouTube for me was such an escape and gaming was such an escape for me that I ran away from those issues. I kind of talked about that in the last episode, but man, I went through so much shit during my kind of tenure of being a YouTuber and like playing games and a streamer and stuff that like, I realized I never really addressed any of it to anybody, which is probably a good thing because no one wants to hear about it. Like realistically, no one wants to hear about your problems and like, especially when they're watching a YouTube video to escape it. But now that I have this kind of format to talk in, I think it might be like, okay, you know, it might be more valuable in this format than it would be if I was like in the middle of a Call of Duty ranked match and I was like, my parents divorced. It would just be like super weird. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that, I don't want to get too crazy deep on this, but we're nearing the end. And I guess I want to say that I've been through kind of the ringer, and obviously my life could be a lot worse. I'm very lucky. I have a lot of things that went really right for me. Like I had a lot of things that went well, you know, but I also had a lot of things that didn't go well. And man, I hope that like if there's anybody young listening to this who got to this point, attention span's a rough thing now, so you probably didn't. But if you did get to this point, I don't know, you know, things are gonna be rough for you, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but you do end up finding your way at some point. And it might take, you know, like, honestly, oh God, excuse me. Honestly, for me, it took like a solid 5 to 6 years for me to even figure out like what I wanted and what I'm happy with and what I was looking for. And, you know, especially as a young guy, I'm sure this is the same thing for girls too. You go into relationships that aren't for you, and you deal with that, and you go into jobs that aren't for you, and you go into you do a lot of things to kind of figure out what you want, and it's really difficult, and you get hurt along the way, and it sucks, but you do end up at a place where you can look back and you've learned and you're able to look back at the good times. For a long time, I was really jaded and like negative and kind of thought like, man, like this just like God, that sucked. And like you start looking at the past with such a bad view. But then you get to a certain age and a certain point in your life where you're far enough removed from all of that. And maybe I've been lucky that I've been able to legitimately, even physically, remove myself like across the world from it. And it's not really just like in my face all the time. But you're able to look back on it as long as you're, like far enough removed from it and recognize the good lessons and the happy times you had around the kind of negative shit that happened. But anyway, we're way above time. I yapped for a long time. I hope everyone's doing well. This episode is a bit late. I wanted to do every other day, but my girlfriend was leaving for a month, and I decided that I should spend time with her before she left. So here we are. But I hope if anyone watched or enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe and like and all that stuff. And I'm on every platform. I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that shit. So just go in the description and there should be a link there. And I'll see you guys hopefully not tomorrow, but the day after at 8 a.m. West Coast time. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoys their day and have a good one. Bye-bye.